Friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Coding with Waqar. In this video we will talk about CSS, the cascading style sheet that is used for design the web pages with the help of HTML. First we learn what is CSS and what is the syntax of CSS. Then we will learn what are the CSS selectors and how to design your web pages content like paragraph, HTML tags and headings. Before starting the video, make sure you hit the subscribe and bell icon button so you guys can get the notification of my upcoming videos. CSS is a powerful tool for web developers and designers, like allowing you to control the visual appearance of HTML elements. Like you can see on your left side, I have written the HTML code, and on the right side of your window you can see the three colors in box shape and three box in different colors with rounded corner. It is designed with the help of simple and basic CSS, HTML elements, and create stunning web pages. In this video we will take a deep dive into CSS and cover everything from the basic to advanced techniques. First thing come first, what is CSS? CSS is a language used to describe the look and formatting of a document written HTML. It separates the presentation of a document from its content, making it easier to style and modify without changing the underlying markup. CSS consists of a set of rules that define how HTML elements should be displayed, including colors, fonts, margin, padding, and more. Like you can see, these are the three boxes and there is a gap between these boxes. I use the line break, that's why it is coming in that way. If I remove this, then the space between the boxes will be removed. Let's back to the again. Let's start with the syntax of CSS. In CSS we have the HTML tags like h1, paragraph, image, div, or span, or footer, navbar, or you can say section, header. Then we have bold, B, then italic. Then we have, these all are the HTML tags, but in CSS we call them the selectors, the CSS selector that is used to design the particular heading, paragraph, image, div, span, or whatever the HTML tags are given in the web pages. You can use this element to describe your website. Let's suppose if you want to design any particular heading, you write the code like this: h1, then its color, then its value to blue, then semicolon to close the line. Here there are 3 or 4 things. The h1 equals to the selector, this is the selector. Then the color is the property. Then we have the blue, the color, it is the value of the color. And all these 3 things called the declaration and simple form of CSS syntax. This is how you guys can write the code. I have already set an example for you. I write the code of div, then I give the class, or I call the class from dot function dot div 5 background color this is the selector, its property, and this is its value. The selector points to the HTML element you want to style. The declaration block contains one or more declarations separated by semicolons. Like this, the background color ends here, we have to add the semicolon, then we in the next line we add the height, then end with semicolon. So every line declaration separated by a semicolon. Each declaration includes a CSS property name and a value separated by a colon. Then we have an option of CSS selectors. There are lots of CSS selector, like this is the simple HTML text that are using as a CSS selector. Then we have ID and class. It is also the selectors, like I have already used the class. If you want to add particular designing in the particular element or tag, you just add the class, then following equal sign, then open the commas and add the whatever the class you want to add. You can add it, like you want to add my heading, you can use like this. Then in the CSS style you will add from like this. You have to use the dot function to call the class, and if you want to add the ID, you guys can add ID like this. Write ID, then equal sign, let's this my ID. And if you want to design this line, you have to call this function using the hash function like this, my ID, and add some line of code like this. This is the simple ID and class selector. Then we have an option of how to add CSS. We have three ways to insert CSS. The first one is external CSS. Then we have option of internal CSS. Then we have option of inline CSS. All three ways is used to insert the CSS. The one that we have already are using the internal CSS like this. In the HTML head tag, just open the style tag, then close the style tag, and in between you can write your CSS code. Then there is another way of writing the CSS is inline CSS. Like I don't want to add the class or ID to my div, I just close it, then this div is gone. Then I will write the inline CSS like this. You have to write style, then open the equal sign, then write background color to green, then hit the save button. It is not showing because we didn't define the height and width. Then write the height to 100 pixels. Then again write its width to the 100. Now you can see this is called the inline CSS. The third and recommended method is the external CSS. Open the folder where is your project is lying. Just open the file and write style .css. Make sure you always end the or write the extension with the help of dot function .css. It defined the cascading style sheet. Just enter it. Then we have the option of external CSS. Let's close this. Then head section of HTML, just type link, then type relation, write style sheet. Then we have to give the path of the file href, then write style dot css, then close this line. Let's change this value div2, just copy or cut here and remove this div, then write the div2 code. You can see the second div has gone, and go to the style CSS, just paste it here, div2. This is how the external CSS is used. In CSS we have an option of CSS comments. If you want to add a comment, you can write like this, just add the forward slash and then add static, then enter your comment. This is the comment. It will help you to remember your code, like this is the this section is used for header. This is help your developer or the other developers to remember the code. Then we have the option of CSS colors. Here we have add the background color to the red color. You can also add from this. Let's add orange like this, or you can also add the color hash function on RGB color like this. This is the red, this is the green, and this is the blue color. Or you can also specify the color like using the hash function or hash code like this. It follows the 6-digit code. Or something to this. Then we have an option of CSS background color that you are seeing this. It is the background color. If you want to add any color into the heading, let's write the code for h1, then its color to the color, then it to the red, semicolon, just save. The color has been changed. Or you can change its font size like this. Or you can reduce its size to this. Let's change its color to something different. You can also add letter spacing like this, 5px, or you can also add word spacing like this. This is how you design your text fields. Then we have an option of borders. Borders will add a box or line around your div, your headings. Let's try to the heading as well. Border, then colon, then it is the first value of its width 1 pixel, then solid, or the color that you want to use like black. Just click to the save. You can see there is a line on the heading. You can change its border width from here. Let's change it to the 5. You can see it becomes more darker. You can also change the solid property to double. or you can also add it to the dash like this. Then we have another option of padding. What is padding? Padding will add a space between the tags and the wall of this container, or every tags, every element in CSS or HTML have its own container. If I talk about this tags, it has already on a container, like the heading it's containing. The space between these tags and these lines is called the padding. Let's add padding to 10px. Now you can see it will add the spacing from all the sides. This is the top padding, this is the right padding, this is the bottom, this is the left. If you want to specify the only top padding, you can write this, and if you want to add the right padding, you can add like this. Let's remove this and stick to the only padding that will apply all sides, 10px. Then we have an option of margin. What is margin? Margin will add extra spacing between two containers or two columns like this. We have a heading and we have also the text. This is some text. Let's design this text. Just add inline CSS. Now we have two boxes or two widgets, you can say. This is the heading and this is the text. This is the bottom border of the heading, this is the top border of the text. If you add margin from the top or bottom, it will add the spacing from the other container like this. You can see it will pushing the other container towards down. This is called the margin. Then we have border width and border color as well, and border shorthand. We have already learned this. Or you also have the border radius. Let's change it to the solid. Then we have an option of border radius to 20 pixels. Now you can see the border color corner has been rounded. You can also add border bottom radius. If you don't want to add the entire radius, border bottom like this. In CSS there are two another properties named with the height and width that is used to set the right height and width of an element. We also have another option of maximum width, minimum height and maximum width. Like we have already used the height and width 100 pixel and 100 pixels. Let's change to the 120. Now you can see it's changed. Let's change its color so it can be more visible, like this, black. Then we have also changed its height to 120. This is the height and width of the container. We have another option of the auto length, percentage, initial and inherit, like this. You can also specify your height from auto in percentage as well, and initial. Then we have an option of box model that we have already discussed, that every container, every HTML has its own box in which we have a border, padding, margin, and in the center we have a content. Then we have an option of font. In CSS, font selection is very important. Choose the right font has a huge impact on how the readers experience a website. The right font can create a strong identifier for your brand. Using a good font that is easy to read is important. The font adds value to your text. It is also important to choose the correct color and text size of the font. In CSS, there are 5 generic font families: serif, sans serif, monospace, and cursive fantasy. Let's try some of the font family in heading. Here is our heading. Let's type font family to this Times New Roman. Then save it. Then we have another option of adding. You can see the font family has been changed to the Times New Roman. Then you can also add whatever the font you like. You can also add Google fonts like Helvetica. This is how you guys can change the font. You can also add font style like this. Font style to italic. We have an option of adding images. Just scroll down in a HTML tag. Just type the img tag, then write src for its file path. I have already copied the URL from online website. You can also enter it. Then close this bracket. Just hit the save button. Now you can see it is showing into the frame. This is how you guys can add image from online. Let's add another attributes or values, like you can specify its height 200 and click paste. Then we have option of its width, also 200 or 120, something you like. Just hit save. In this value you don't need to specify the unit of the height and width. You just type the number, then it will automatically resize the image. One of the most important aspect in creating or adding image, you must add the alter attribute like this. Like this is the C image. Why this alt value is used: whenever your image got broken or internet issue, then it will be shown there that this is C image. It will help the readers to look the image. Just hit save. Then we have another option of adding the local image or the image that have you already downloaded. Just remove this. Then make sure you have enter the right path. My file is here, cimage.webp. Then I write cimage.webp. You can also add .png or .jpg. Just enter save. Now you can see the image has been added successfully. This is the basic and general concept of styling and designing the HTML website and CSS website. By practicing the CSS code, you can become the master of the designing phase. Basically, the HTML is used to design or create the structure of your website, but with the help of CSS, you actually design and make the appearance of website very good. I hope you guys must learn something from this video. If you learned something from this video, tell me in the comment section. Before going, make sure you hit the bell icon and subscribe button so you guys can get the notification of my upcoming videos.